Rudy, I didn't realize how quiet I had become around them until that afternoon. It wasn't intentional. At some point, I had just stopped correcting people, stopped explaining, stopped offering context that no one was actually asking for. Formity, it was easier to nod, to let their version of me sit at the table like an extra chair no one questioned. The failure, it had never been said in a single clean sentence, not at first. It came in pieces, in comparisons that sounded harmless. Formity, your brother just got promoted again. Your sister's residency is going really well. You should think about something more stable. Over time, it sharpened, became efficient. You'll end up homeless if you keep this up. He said it every holiday. Formity, same tone. Not angry, not even emotional, just certain, like he was describing the weather. I used to argue. Early on, I tried to explain what I was building, how it worked, why it wasn't as simple as a job title. Uniformity. I would watch their expressions shift, not into understanding, just into polite waiting. I was speaking a language they didn't need to learn. Eventually, I stopped. It's strange how silence can feel like losing at first. Formity, and then slowly start to feel like choosing not to play. The reunion was at my parents' house. Same layout, same seating patterns, like nothing had changed except everyone's arrêt sommet. My brother arrived late, talking on the phone. Formity. Pacing the hallway like the walls were temporary, he wore his success visibly, tailored, efficient, timed. My sister moved differently, controlled, precise. Even when she laughed, it felt measured, like she was aware of her hands. Formity. I noticed these things because I wasn't performing anything. I was just there. Someone handed me a drink I didn't ask for. Someone else asked if I was still doing that online thing. I said yes. Formity. They nodded like I'd confirmed something unfortunate. Dinner settled into its usual rhythm. Updates. Achievement, small applause, wrapped in conversation. I listened not resentfully, just separately. At some point, my father stood up slightly. Formity, not enough to make it formal, but enough that people paused. Let's do something, he said. Everyone share a life win. Something you're proud of? It landed exactly how he intended. Structured, clean, measurable. My brother went first. Already, of course, recently made VP. He said, like it was a footnote. It wasn't. The table responded the way it was supposed to. Impressed, affirming. My father nodded with a kind of visible satisfaction. My sister followed. A successful surgery. Formity. Complicated, high risk. She explained just enough for it to sound important without losing anyone. More approval. More certainty. I felt the familiar expectation begin to form before anyone looked at me. This is where I usually deflect. Formity. Make a joke. Say something vague enough to move past. But I didn't feel like doing that anymore. Not out of defiance, just it didn't fit who I was now. When it reached me, there was a small pause. Not uncomfortable yet, just incomplete. Formity, what about you? My father asked. His tone wasn't harsh. It wasn't anything really, just procedural. Like checking a box. I remember noticing my hands were still, no nervous movement, no rehearsed response waiting. For a second, Formity, I considered saying nothing, letting the moment pass like all the others. But something about the structure of the question, the way it demanded a visible answer, made silence feel like agreeing with them again. Formity. So I gave them something they could measure. One number. I said, that got their attention, but not in a serious way. More like curiosity before dismissal. My net worth. There was a slight shift. My brother leaned back a little. Formity, almost amused. Okay, my father said, was it? I told him no explanation, no breakdown, just the number. It didn't land all at once. It moved across the table in stages. Confusion first, then calculation, then something quieter. Formity. No one reacted immediately, which was the first real change. Usually there was always something, advice, skepticism, a quick pivot to something safer. This time there was just silence. My father blinked once. Formity, like he was resetting something internally. Say that again, he said, not louder, not aggressive, just precise. So I did, same tone, same number. This time it held. You could feel the recalibration happening. Not dramatic. Formity, not visible in expressions, but in the absence of dismissal. Like the space where their assumptions used to sit was suddenly empty. My sister looked at me differently. Not impressed, just uncertain. My father didn't speak right away. Formity. When he did, it wasn't what I expected. How? He asked. It wasn't a challenge. It wasn't disbelief. It was the first actual question he'd asked me about my life in years. I could have explained. I could have walked them through everything. Formity, every risk, every mistake, every quiet year that didn't look like progress from the outside. But I didn't feel the need to fill that space anymore. I built something. I said, it worked. That was enough. My brother stood up shortly after. No announcement, no comment. He picked up his phone, glanced at it like something required his attention, and walked out. The door closed without force, just finality. No one called him back. That was the only visible break in the room. Formity, but it was enough. It shifted something permanent. Conversation resumed eventually, but it was different, slower, less certain. People chose their words more carefully, like they were aware of something they hadn't accounted for. Formity, no one congratulated me, no one apologized. I didn't need them to. The strange part was how little it felt like winning. There was no surge, no satisfaction in proving anything, just a quiet release. Formity. Like I had been carrying their version of me for so long that putting it down felt unfamiliar. I realized sitting there that if this moment had happened years ago, it would have meant everything. Now it just clarified things. Formity. They hadn't changed, not really. They were adjusting, reacting to new information the same way they always had. The difference was me. I wasn't waiting for their understanding anymore. After dinner, my father stopped me briefly. Not formally, not in front of anyone. You should have told us, he said. I looked at him for a moment, not trying to find the right answer, just noticing the gap between what he meant and what was true. I did, I said. Just not in a way you recognized. Formity, he didn't respond to that. Neither did I. When I left, nothing about the house looked different. Same walls, same lights, same place that had defined me in ways I used to fight against. But it didn't hold me the same way anymore. Formity, not because they finally saw me, just because I had stopped needing them to.